Mark, MX330, 5-axis machine from Matsuura, 10 pallet stations here. You're the area sales manager for the south of England.
That's right, yes.
Where do you see you having success with this type of machine?
We're definitely in the south of the country is subcontractors, normally in that subcontract, automotive, maybe aerospace marketplace. But this machine is really targeted, not necessarily at volume, it's the variety of components that people can make, and it's utilising every hour of every single day. Because
lots of people do look at pallet pools and pallet stations and think that they've got to be running hundreds of thousands of the same parts, but that isn't the case with this. This is about flexibility, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah, and that's where a lot of customers don't necessarily appreciate what the benefits of this machine tool can be. With the Matsuura, we can dedicate a number of programs to a pallet, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the same part on every single pallet. We can run multiples of different parts just by accessing through the machine control.
Now I notice we're standing here by the pallet station or where the parts are loaded. Inside the machine, it's a 5-axis, it's a high-speed machining centre, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's followed on from the success of the MX330 and then the MX330. I mean, the 520 has been around now for about 7 years, and since we've been exhibiting it at Southern Manufacturing, we've had great success. And the 330 is just following on that same pattern.
So how fast is it?
The machine moves at 40 metres a minute. The spec we have here at the moment is 15,000 RPM, but you've got an X-axis of 435mm, a Y-axis of 465mm. But if you use it with a pallet changer, then obviously we have that 330 working envelope by 300 tool. If you load through the front door, you then get 420 diameter by 300 tool.
So an engineer can have 10 different components and he can have them all on these stations here, and he can press the button, go home at night, come in the morning and basically unload the parts, finished parts, to the correct tolerances.
Oh yes, definitely, it's Matsuura, so it's accurate. But the thing as well is, you mentioned 10 pallets. If you assume then you can get 4 different programs attached to each pallet, you could end up with 40 different components coming off at the end of the day.
Okay, now again with this machine, if I was an engineer and I was restricted on my floor space,
yep,
would I be looking at taking 3 machines out and putting 1 machine in? Is that where you get the justification for slightly bigger footprint?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've done it numerous times with the 35V, and we've had customers that have taken 6 machines, 6 standalone verticals that are running at maybe 30% spindle utilisation, put it onto a 35V, run it every single hour of every single day, and still have 40% available capacity to go and sell to another customer.
You guys talk about uptime as well, or minimal downtime. What sort of uptime would you get from this type of machine?
Oh, it's well in the 90s. I mean, you could say 100%, but you've got to have some utilisation constraints in there. But it will just run and run and run. But it's a hungry animal to feed. You've got to feed it with components.
And how new is this concept? How new is this machine to Matsuura here in the UK?
This machine has been out, I think the first one arrived in February and was installed into a bespoke automotive manufacturer in East Sussex, and it's transformed what they're doing. This is the first time we've seen it in public. Obviously we had our open house 2 weeks ago where it was shown to our guests, but we started selling them in numbers, 2 this week, 1 last week.
Just want to, while we're on the stand here this week, plug 2 other machines that you've got here. Tell us about the Murata and the LUMEX.
With the Murata, again, it's a machine that we were showing at our open house a couple of weeks ago. It's a new machine from Murata. It's a much smaller footprint, but it's infinitely configurable to whatever you may be manufacturing. If it's billet loading, or it's bar loading, where we can have automation, it can be configured however you want.
And then we've got the additive and subtractive. That's really interesting.
Well, LUMEX is great. I mean, it's such a unique platform of machine to have a metal sintering hybrid machining centre. 46,000 RPM, 15 tools, BT30, and the ability to be able to grow components and machine them as you grow the layers is fantastic.
I think what strikes me is it would be quite an interesting sell to have what you have here at this show in a machine shop, wouldn't it? You'd have the ultimate flexibility 5-axis, twin turret turning, turn components, and then additive manufacturing.
Yeah.
Wow, you wouldn't need me more, would you?
Well, that's it, yeah. One-stop shop. Why else would you come to Matsuura?
Thanks, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you.